Good afternoon and welcome to RMU Live. I'm Colby Sherwin and here's what's happening now. In just about under a year, the United States had 25 million coronavirus infections. As the cases rise, so did the death toll. As of Sunday, there were more than 417,000 people who died of COVID-19, according to Johns Hopkins University. Allegheny County will now begin to administer the COVID-19 vaccination. They'll be giving it to those who are 65 years and older. The Pennsylvania Health Department said, quote, notification of this went out first through the Allegheny alerts, and it appears that all available slots have been claimed. Users may try to find an appointment at the Monroeville pod on appointment day and may check back often to see if an appointment becomes available. A tweet from the Allegheny Council Health Department said Friday evening, quote, the clinic is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. by appointment only. Those without appointments will be turned away. According to RMU COVID dashboard, 38 students and 7 employees have tested positive for COVID-19, and 32 students and 7 employees are in quarantine. Individuals in isolation have tested positive for COVID-19. Individuals in quarantine have shown symptoms and are awaiting test results or have been exposed to an infected person. The number of people in isolation and quarantine includes both those doing so in campus housing and off-campus housing, or in case of the employees in their homes. RMU has hired new police chief Jeffrey James. He comes to RMU after a successful 22-year career in Secret Service and 2.5 years as the Director of Security at Seneca Valley School District. Renee Cavarach, RMU General Counsel and Vice President for Legal Affairs and Risk Management, said, quote, Chief James is passionate about the community policing, RMU's mission, and our commitment to being big enough to matter and small enough to care, end quote. An RMU professor who uses computer simulations of the human head to study damage caused by an impact is part of a $10 million national research project to reduce traumatic brain injuries. Rika Carlson, an associate professor of mechanical and biomedical engineering, is one of the scientists taking part in the partner program funded by the U.S. Office of Naval Research. The 3-year program includes scientists from government laboratories, the industry sector, and several universities. Carlson said, quote, a lot of injuries happen at the cellular level, and to figure out how the head transmits the damage to the cells is a difficult question. We are trying to incorporate a lot of myosophical information into our models, end quote. A U.S. Marine Corps veteran in West Virginia who lost his house in a fire has a new roof over his head. Thanks to Robert Morris University, a student project, Hoy Young Jr. of Flatwoods, West Virginia, escaped a fire in September that burned down his house and was living temporarily in a donated trailer in December. He moved into a tiny house supplied by RMU. Young said, quote, I'm so thankful that the project was picked up, said Miller, now a communications representative for Curtains Wade Inn, Chadwick-based EMS division, which produced high-performance part for the nuclear-powered U.S. Navy vessel. The fact that this project is going to be completed and utilized in our community is truly incredible and is something I will always look back with pride, end quote. The RMU Center for Innovation and Outreach invites you to attend an inaugural virtual innovation speaker series event featuring Dr. Anthony So of the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and welcomed by President Chris Howard on January 29th from 2 to 3 p.m. Nathan Breisinger is over at the UPMC Event Center to fill us in on everything RMU sports. Nate, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Colby. I'm here inside the UPMC Event Center where things heated up over the weekend as both the men's and women's basketball team took to the floor to compete in Horizon League play. The women's basketball team took the floor first on Friday as they took on the Wright State Raiders looking for their first ever Horizon League victory. And that's exactly what they did, winning 50-43 over the Raiders. Sol Castro recorded a double-double, hitting 23 points and 11 rebounds. Later that evening, the men's basketball team took on the hardwood floor as they faced Northern Kentucky. It was a tightly contested game throughout, but Northern Kentucky prevailed in the end, winning that one 81-76. A.J. Brahma, once again, a dominating performance, recording 27 points on the losing effort. The following day, the women's basketball team once again returned to the floor for game number 2 against Wright State. In that game, they started off slow, but came back down from behind. They ended up prevailing in that one, 68-65. Once again, Sol Castro, 20 points in the win. Nina Augustin and Megan Callahan also provided double-digit figures in that victory. The men's basketball team in their game 2 against Northern Kentucky, they jumped out to a 17-point lead early in the first half. But the Norse clawed back, and they forced overtime where they ended up winning 79-74. A.J. Brahma also leading the way for the Colonials in that loss. The Colonials have now dropped 4 straight, dating back with their last win coming on New Year's Day, January 1st. Also seeing action this weekend was the women's hockey team as they traveled to Syracuse to take on the Orange. The Colonials were able to win both games 2-1 respectively. Angelica Diffendahl scored both of the team's first goals in each game as she had a solid performance on the weekend. The Colonials now improved to 7-2-1, on the season. The men's hockey team also hit the road this weekend as they traveled up to Mercyhurst on Saturday to take on the Lakers. They ended up falling 5-2 down in the second period, but they came back and tied the game 5-5 before the end of the second frame. Nick Percusa, Cammie Bear, and Santeri Hartikainen all recorded a goal in that second period. However, Mercyhurst ended up reaching the game-winning goal in the third period and added an insurance and empty net goal to seal the deal in a high-scoring 7-5 affair. They return to action 2 weekends from now, Now let's look ahead to some games coming this week. On this very floor here at the UPMC Event Center, the women's volleyball team commences their season for the 2021 campaign as they take on Oakland tonight at 6 p.m. and they will finish it off tomorrow against Oakland as well for game 2 in that series. That's all I have now for sports. Let's send it back over to the desk.
Thanks, Nate. A Pittsburgh man was charged with homicide after he fatally shot a man and wounded a woman who he said was trying to rob his house. Police responded to Hartman's home for a report of shots fired and found him there holding a handgun. He was told to put the weapon down, and after he complied, he was taken to a patrol car while officers searched his home. The officer soon found the wounded woman who had been shot in the upper chest and abdomen, and a man who had been shot several times. He was pronounced dead at the scene while she was flown to a hospital. Pittsburgh police are asking for the public's help in locating a missing man. 25-year-old Thomas Hughes of Beechview was last seen January 23rd around 11 p.m. Hughes is 6'1", 260 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a black t-shirt, dark blue jeans, black boots, and a black Carhartt jacket. Police say he could be driving a silver 2012 Volkswagen Routan. Police ask anyone with information on his whereabouts to call the Special Victims Unit at 412-323-7141. State police say John Cassidy was found safely. Pennsylvania State Police are searching for an 82-year-old man who is missing from Greensburg. John Cassidy is described as 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighed 109 pounds, and has blonde hair and blue eyes. Police said he was last seen wearing a brown jacket and jeans and is driving a 2003 car. The Cincinnati Fire Department said fire crews responding to a report of a Blue Lake Sunday morning, they found the train derailed on the CSX Railroad Bridge in the Queensgate neighborhood. No injuries were reported. Officials said about 1,000 gallons of diesel had leaked from the train onto the street below. The fire crews were able to contain the spill. The Metropolitan Sewer District activated the Mill Leak drain to prevent diesel from getting into the Ohio River. The district and the firefighters told the Cincinnati Enquirer. A winter storm watch in our region will go into effect from Monday afternoon through Tuesday morning, according to the National Weather Service. Pittsburgh, the affected areas will include Westmoreland Ridges, Fayette Ridges, including the city, Ligonier, DeJoul, Champion, Ohio Powell, Terra Alta, Rowlsburg, Harrison Davis, Thomas, and Cannon Valley. Jed Bartos is going to tell us about the week's weather. Jed, what do you have for us?
Thank you. Let's go to Monday's weather, the 25th. We got a high of 37, about a 5-mile-an-hour wind, 72% humidity. Probably going to rain mid-afternoon, but it's supposed to stay cloudy the rest of the day. For Monday's weather at about 10 o'clock in the morning, there's a small chance of precipitation, not likely, but we move towards about 2 p.m. It's likely to go up to about 50%, and definitely by 10 o'clock in the evening, it will probably be raining. Okay, now we move on to Tuesday. We see a little rise in temperature. About 46 degrees is the high, the low of 35. About a 35% chance of showers throughout the day, likely to move up towards the middle of the night. And it's about a 10-mile-an-hour southeastern wind. Okay, it's supposed to be a cold one out Monday, so make sure you bundle up, stay warm, don't get sick. I'm gonna hand it back to Colby.
Thanks, Jed. When we come back, Latrobe has vaccines on the way. Stay with us on RMU Live.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Hello and welcome back to the B block of the virtual edition of RMU Live. I'm John Blinn. Democrats in Congress are currently working to draft legislation that will increase the amount of money given to parents through child tax credit. Democrats are hoping to push the amount from $2,000 or $3,000 to up to $3,600. Parents who qualify for this aid will not have to wait for their tax refunds before they receive this money. The proposed plan is initially expected to only last for a year. Recipients could have the option between receiving their money through an annual or monthly payment. Unemployed citizens in Pennsylvania can now begin applying for relief through a new federal program that will be stopped in December. This program will allow people to apply for an additional 11 weeks of unemployment compensation. State officials say that anyone who has previously been receiving Pennsylvania extended benefits before the new federal program came to be can still make a new claim. Currently, 100,000 Pennsylvanians have received these benefits. The House of Representatives will deliver the article of impeachment against former President Trump on Monday. As CNN's Ryan Nobles reports, that means the second Trump Senate impeachment trial could begin on Tuesday.
Democrats have a date.
I've spoken to Speaker Pelosi, who informed me that the articles will be delivered to the Senate on Monday.
Pushing ahead with a plan to hold the impeachment trial of former President Trump right away. The articles could be read on Monday. The presiding judge seated and witnesses and members sworn in Tuesday, with arguments beginning as soon as Wednesday. Trump is already preparing his defense, hiring South Carolina lawyer Butch Bowers to represent him. Republicans are already warning that convicting the former president could be more trouble than it's worth, despite the deaths caused by the rioters inspired by Trump at the Capitol.
It sets a bad precedent for the presidency, and it continues to divide the nation.
Democrats need 17 Republicans to convict Trump And there are signs that establishment Republicans are encouraging senators to vote to convict so the party can move past Trump. But the impeachment timeline could be part of a broader negotiating strategy as the two sides barter over power of the chamber.
We could organize the Senate today if both sides agreed to abide by the same rules as last time.
New Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell are working to strike an agreement that reflects the 50-50 balance, but with Vice President Kamala Harris's role as president of the Senate that allows Democrats to run the show. Republicans want Democrats to agree to never abandon the Senate filibuster, which allows one member to force a supermajority vote on any bill, which means 60 senators must vote in favor to advance the legislation.
So we'll continue to request that our Democrat colleagues reaffirm this standing rule of the Senate, which they have been happy to use on many occasions, I can attest.
Meanwhile, Republicans who allowed deficits to run wild during the Trump administration are now raising concerns over President Biden's proposed $1.9 trillion spending package that would offer assistance for those dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. Maine GOP Senator Susan Collins, a key swing vote, said a broad, expensive package at this stage would be too much.
The Senate currently sits at an even ratio with 50 Democratic members and 50 Republican members. In the event of a tie, Vice President Kamala Harris would have the final say. Speaking of former President Trump, one small Texas county had the highest percentage of voters for Donald Trump than any other county in America. You might wonder, does President Joe Biden have any chance to win over these Trump loyalists? CNN's Gary Touchman went there to find out.
This is Roberts County in the Texas Panhandle. Do you think he could be a good president, Joe Biden?
Everybody has capability of being good. We'll see.
It's a very small county. Roughly 850 people live here.
I just tell them good luck and do what's right.
Except for the frequent freight trains, Roberts County is quiet, but it's getting a high profile because in the last two presidential elections, Roberts County gave Donald Trump a higher percentage of the vote than any other county in America. In this election, Donald Trump got over 96% of the vote in this county. Joe Biden received a grand total of 17 votes. So we asked these most loyal of Trump voters, what do you think Joe Biden needs to do to be a good president?
Well, he's going to have to get everyone together first. Get the whole United States together again. And I don't know that he can do that because he's got too many people behind him that's against getting the Trump supporters together with the Democrats.
You voted for Donald Trump twice. Do you think there's a possibility that you could ultimately believe that Joe Biden is a good president?
Yes, sir.
What would he have to do to earn that from you?
He's going to have to keep the people together and quit being so divisive.
Several other Trump voters here told us the same thing. They believe President Biden needs to unite the country, be less divisive, despite the obvious irony. Do you think Donald Trump has been divisive?
In certain ways, sure.
Debbie Howard has owned the family hair care salon in the county seat of Miami for almost a quarter century. If Joe Biden walked into your salon and said, Debbie, I'd like an opinion from a Trump voter, someone who voted for Trump twice, what can I do to make you like me, to make you think I'm a good president? What would you say to him? First thing.
That's really hard because I'm just go blank right now. Just try to unify this country. Try to, listen to both sides and meet in the middle, compromise with the Republicans.
Certainly not every Trump voter we met here is willing to give President Biden a chance. Randy Massey works in the heating and air conditioning business. So is there any chance you could see him being a good president?
No.
So you've given up on him already?
I ain't had faith in him in 47 years, and I'm only 44 years old.
But others are hoping they end up being pleasantly surprised. And you think you could be happy with, potentially?
There's potential there, yes.
Gary Tuchman, CNN, Roberts County, Texas.
A Pennsylvania legislator shared an image mocking the appearance of the state's recently appointed health secretary, Dr. Rachel Levine, a transgender woman who has been nominated to serve in the Biden administration, on Facebook, and then offered a general apology, Saturday, State Representative Jeff Pyle, a Republican from Armstrong and Indiana counties in western Pennsylvania, said on Facebook that he, quote, had no idea the post mocking Levine would be received as poorly as it was, but that tens of thousands of heated emails assured me it was, end quote. Leaders of the Plum School District are seeking input from parents on policies and the future of the district through an online survey. The survey features questions about returning to classes full-time and in person while adhering to the CDC guidelines. The survey also asks about implementing stricter safety regulations. School leaders are planning to collect survey responses by the end of today and may discuss the results on Tuesday at the next school board meeting. 200 employees of the Greater Latrobe School District lined up for vaccinations, about 200 more employees next week. More than 400 staff members said they were interested in receiving the vaccine, but the Medicine Shop Pharmacy in Latrobe only had 200 doses. The Greater Latrobe School District joins the Ligonier Valley School District in getting staff members vaccinated. School employees are technically in Phase 1B of the state's vaccine distribution plan. However, some pharmacies with extra doses of the vaccine were allowed to move on to the next phase after administering it to their patients in Phase 1A, according to the State Department of Health. LaRoche University is offering 2 new online certificate programs. The Health Leadership Program will begin this spring. The university says it is for those looking for active and effective roles in the healthcare system. The second program, Global Healthcare, launches this summer. It is for those who want to contribute to improving health outcomes among varied cultures. Anyone can apply for the programs and even without completing a major at Latrobe. The Mega Million has finally had a lucky winner. The golden ticket for the top prize, matching all 6 numbers, was sold in Michigan. The billion-dollar jackpot is the 3rd largest prize in United States history. Mega Millions says there is 1 ticket in Pennsylvania that matched 5 numbers and is worth $1 million prize. The winning numbers were 4, 20, 640, 250, 60, and 24. Looking for more RMU-related content? Be sure to check out RMU Radio on the Radio FX app, or listen to Buzz on campus and around the Pittsburgh area by finding our podcast under RMU Century Media on Podbean. Coming up after the break, Nathan Brysinger will give us a look on the latest sports.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
What are you doing in there? What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes! Make a plan today.
Nate is back in the UPMC Event Center with the latest in Pittsburgh sports. Nate, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Colby. I'm once again here inside the beautiful UPMC Event Center, but let's talk about some professional sports. Last night, 2 championship games took place in the NFL as 2 teams looked to advance to Super Bowl 55. First up on the evening, Green Bay and Tampa Bay battled for the NFC Championship crown. 2 future Hall of Fame quarterbacks look to lead their teams to a Super Bowl appearance. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers jumped out to a 28-10 lead by the early portion of the 3rd quarter. Trailing by 18 points, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers looked to stage a comeback, which saw them pull within 5 points late in the game. It was a questionable call, though, in the end, that by head coach Matt LaFleur to opt for a field goal instead of going for it on 4th and goal, that saw the demise of the Packers in this one. It was just a few minutes from the end of the game, but it put the ball back into Brady's hands after the field goal, which that was enough for him to seal the deal and make his 10th appearance in the Super Bowl, which is an unbelievable feat by any quarterback, especially at that age. With the ball going over to the AFC, 2 young superstar quarterbacks took the field with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen dueling it out. The Chiefs led for most of that game, pulling out in the end 38-24, as they now have reached their 2nd consecutive Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, once again, balled out, tossing 325 yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 of them to trusty tight end Travis Kelce. Mahomes and the Chiefs will look to be the first team to win back-to-back titles since, you guessed it, Tom Brady did it in 2004 and 2005. Now let's change gears over to hockey. The Pittsburgh Penguins returned home after losing their first 2 games of the season in Philadelphia. Looking to turn things around in their 4-game homestand, they were able to sweep all 4 games. Last night they took on the New York Rangers, pulling out a late victory 3-2. That came via a Jake Gensel game-winning goal that came with just 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. The Penguins now have moved up into the 2nd spot in the heavily contested East Division. In other news, the Pittsburgh Pirates continue to make strides in their rebuilding process as they have shipped out many notable names over the past few months. Most recently, Jameson Taillon was sent out of the Steel City over to the New York Yankees. The Bucks received 4 prospects in this deal to strengthen their farm system. Pirates general manager Ben Cherington is just getting into the thick of things as he continues to gear this team up for the future. That is all the sports news I have for now. Let's send it back over to the desk.
Thanks, Nate, for that sports report. Speaking of sports, Colonial Sports Network has you covered with everything going on in Colonial Sports, from the UPMC Event Center to the Joe Walton Stadium and down to the softball fields or the island. The writers and editors there have you covered. To stay up to date with everything going on the RMU campus and Moon Township, be sure to visit RMU Sanctuary Media. The writers will have you covered everything going on. What parents have to say about food and dieting and weight can have a lasting impact on their child's health. Here's more on how to be a body-positive role model in today's Health Minute.
Our children are always watching us. They're listening to what we say.
That's why parents play a big part in shaping a child's healthy and not so healthy habits. So start by being a good role model, says dietitian Catherine Sherry of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life program.
If we want our kids to eat vegetables and fruits, we need to eat vegetables and fruits. If we want our kids to be drinking more water and less of the juice and the soda, as adults, we need to show them that we're drinking water.
Sherry says to avoid weighing yourself in front of your children and don't speak negatively about your own body.
In fact, talk positively about your body. It might feel awkward, it might feel out of place, but that's not what your child is going to pick up on.
Being healthy is something that you can do together.
Say something like, I'm going to have a salad today, and invite the child to come into the kitchen and help prep it with you.
Finally, whether your child is 2 or a teen, it's never too late to learn.
Habits can change, and even though a child is an adolescent, that doesn't mean all is lost, and they can still learn and grow into a healthy adult.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The dietitian says being a healthy role model for children can also benefit the health of the parents. When we come back, Jed is back in the weather studio to give us more on the weather. Stay with us on RMU Live.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Hello and welcome back to RMU Live. The Macedonia Church of Pittsburgh took over the Southside Giant Eagle Saturday, paying the bills for shoppers and workers. All 77 employees got $50 gift cards for their efforts during the pandemic, and more than 200 shoppers had their grocery bills paid for. Pastor Brian Edmonds said, quote, "If we can have 2021 have a fresh start for a lot of people, they feel loved, blessed, and they feel they're not in this by themselves, that would be an awesome way for us to be who we're called to be," end quote. A new buyer has come forward to buy all of the assets of Conneaut Lake Park. The park's trustees said that an offer from someone who wants to expand. The park is currently in a bankruptcy reorganization plan, and the cash offer must go through the court process before anything concrete can happen. We're now going to send it back to our weather anchor, Jed Bartos, to give us a full look at what we can expect this week. Jed?
All right, thanks, John. Hand it back to me with the weather. Like I said Monday before, 10 p.m., likely going to have showers into Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, you should see relatively clear skies, maybe a little overcast, but towards the middle of the night, it's likely going to be raining again. On to Wednesday, the temperatures are likely to stay low 40s, maybe high 30s, likely not going to rain. It's the same for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but you'll see a slight temperature decline throughout the week.
That is all for this week. We thank you for joining us in our first virtual episode of RMU Live. For Colby Sherwin, Nathan Brysinger, and Jed Bartos, I'm John Blinn. We will see you next week.